sure you're all aware of him. Yeah, after you've seen him today, you can follow him up online and so on and so forth. So yeah, Mike Johnston.
Thanks, guys. I'll start my timer so I can get you guys out of here in time for Annika's clinic, which is code for I want to get out of here in time for Annika's clinic because I want to see it.
Cool.
Okay, so most of you probably know that I'm actually performing tomorrow. So today is my chance to do what I love to do more than anything in the world, which is teach. So I will be doing that today. For any of you that are here to watch me go really fast, that's my solo. There you go. Tomorrow I'll go super fast. So I want to really talk about some things that are extremely personal to me and into, when I look back at my development on the instrument, I'm always thinking, how could I pass this on to my students? How could I show other people that are struggling as much as I am how to get better at this instrument? And more importantly, how to take it in stride when you are frustrated. Because everything that I can play on the drums was a struggle, one note at a time. I could see the vision, Dave Weckl would play this thing and I really wanted to do it. I wanted to do it so bad. I would try. It didn't happen, of course. And then I just would take a deep breath and say, okay, what was the first note Dave played? And I would learn that note, and I would learn the second one, and I would learn the third one. And I just trusted that within a month or two, I would have this thing down that I wanted. And I wanted to walk you through some of that stuff. But I also want to really help you guys out with speed and the concept of speed, because as somebody that does a lot of drum camps all over the world, that is one seriously misunderstood concept for sure. So there are two types of speed. There is raw speed, and that is the physical ability to do something over and over and over again without any thought. No thought process whatsoever. How fast can you do something? That's raw speed, and that is very, very different than what you're probably looking for on the drum set. Most people naturally have almost enough raw speed to do most of the things they want to do. So that means that something else is getting in your way. If I bring you up here on stage, which I will do in a couple seconds to somebody, so go ahead and start getting your heart racing. And if you brought sticks to this, that's your fault, because I will see those. Don't hide them, little bro, it's all good. But I will see that you brought sticks, I'm like, well, he's ready to play, here we go. But when I bring you up here, I guarantee your raw speed is already faster than mine. It's very rare that I run into any human beings whose raw speed is slower than mine. I'm not a fast drummer at all, but I can play things extremely fast. So there must be something else causing that to happen, and we have to explore that today so that you can go home and you know better how to practice. So we'll talk about that today. We're also going to talk about orchestration and how important, once you've learned something, how important it is to put it somewhere else on the drum set and explore the different sounds. The reason we have all of our rudiments and all of our sticking patterns is because we have multiple surfaces. If we only had one surface, it would make sense to play single strokes all the time with just accents. But once you start breaking up the pattern or breaking up the orchestration, then having diddles in there and flams and drags really starts to come into play. So we'll talk a little bit about orchestration. We'll do some Q&A, very important. This is a very intimate setting compared to what I'll be doing tomorrow. So this is your chance to ask me anything you've wanted to ask. And I'm on a drum set right now, so please don't wait till this moment is over to ask me something that could be answered with me on a drum set. It's really hard for me as an educator when you come up to me, in the elevator and you say like, dude, you gotta teach me your bass drum technique. And I'm like, do you see a bass drum around here? How the hell am I supposed to teach you my bass drum technique? I was just on a drum set for 45 minutes. How did you not ask about my bass drum technique? It's like, oh, I didn't want to bother you, and I didn't want. It's like, what do you think I flew to London for? I flew here to be asked about everything. So when we get to the Q&A, don't be nervous. Anything that you want to ask, I promise you, it is something that I had to ask myself at some point in my journey. So if you think like, it's stupid to ask about coated heads versus clear heads, why? I didn't know what they were when I was 7. I was like, get the white ones or the clear ones, but I didn't know there was a purpose. I didn't know the purpose behind nylon tip drumsticks and wood tip drumsticks, but I asked people. So feel free to ask, because if you want to know, I guarantee someone else in the crowd wants to know as well. So I'm happy to talk about that. And then we'll also talk about creativity. How do you become creative if you are like me, a non-creative person. So everything you see of me online, I'm not the one that thought it up. If it's the color scheme of my website, if it's the video editing style I'm doing, if it's the way I speak to a camera, I didn't invent any of it. I took it from somebody else and made it into my own thing. So how do you practice being creative? And I want to talk about that with you. So let's get into it. Raw speed versus pattern speed. Raw speed, like I said, is the physical ability to do something that takes no thought whatsoever. So something like my right hand on a practice pad. That doesn't take any thought, okay? My brain isn't thinking like, what comes after the right hand? It's like, more right hands, just keep doing it. So I'm really just doing this. That's my raw speed. And I promise you this, that is about as fast as I can go. I could probably go a little faster with some eyebrow involved, but that's about all I got, okay? Left hand is much worse. There's other things on the drum set that I do that require no thought, maybe something like doubles, you know. And actually in the beginning, that did take thought. I would go right, kick, right, kick, no, right, kick, no. So it took a little while, but I got it down. But my raw speed to play, say, bass drum, a lot of people think from my YouTube videos like, Mike's got a really fast foot. You wanna hear how fast my foot is? I've never done it before. I don't know, it's this fast. And it's pretty quiet. Come on. That's about all I got. So it's really me disguising things around it that make it sound fast, you know? If you hear me do like a little saucy sauce, you know. I don't have a fast bass drum foot. I just was smart enough to put 2 floor toms before the bass drum, and I went. Nothing to do with what kind of shoes are you wearing, and it's like, I don't even know what pedal I have right now. I have a DW5000 that is definitely from a rental company. This thing has been abused. Some sort of a beater, and it kind of squeaks. So it's not the gear, it's not my shoes, it's just practice. So, raw speed, your physical ability to do something. So, you have sticks and tattoos, and you're good looking, come on up here. You just need one stick. You can keep both. Okay. All right, come on up to the cool kid area. Okay, so are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
You're right. So your left hand is your less dominant hand, right?
It's terrible.
Cool. Play it for me as fast as you can. Okay, good.
With a watch on.
I can't play as fast as you can. Do it one more time. Yeah, take that watch off.
Yeah.
What kind of watch is it? Just like awesome. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Our sticks are gonna kiss. Okay, so you're about as fast as me with your left hand, okay?
Yeah.
Do you know your rudiments?
Ish.
Okay, do you know what a paradiddle is?
Yes.
Okay, so play that for me. Do it again, so those are double paradiddles.
Okay.
So it's paradiddle, diddle. Yeah, and then a double, exactly. Now you're in paradiddles. Okay, good, so that's fine. Yep, okay, good. So that was your speed route. Paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle. Now hold this, and give me one of your sticks. So he's physically faster than me. His raw speed is faster than mine. I'm not faking it. This isn't like a David Copperfield bullcrap magic trick where I'm going to be like, boom, my drum set's gone. He's faster than me. I'm not embarrassed. I don't care. I'm secure. So now paradiddle diddles. A little lower, please. And then angle it towards me just one click. Thank you, sir. Okay. So why can I go so much faster than him at this rudiment and speak to you at the same time than him if we've proven that he's faster than me? I can tell you, it's because of a totally different speed. It's called pattern speed. So thank you. Hand for him. is very different, and it has much more to do with the brain than the muscles. The brain has an amazing ability to memorize motor function and to eventually memorize patterns. And that's what we call muscle memory. There's no such thing as muscle memory, it's a misnomer. But the brain does have the ability to memorize motor function. So if he was able to go home tonight, and I guarantee after this he will, he'll be like, okay, I'm gonna be a paradiddle-diddle god. Mike will respect me and bow at my paradiddle-diddle knees. If he put in the time on it, he would actually be faster than me, because eventually his pattern speed would be able to take advantage of his raw speed. So what's happening right now is his hard drive just cannot keep up with the amount of information coming in. And so by practicing something very slow over and over again, absolutely perfect, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, his brain will memorize that motor function, and eventually, within maybe a week or 2 weeks, the brain will get out of the way and he will be able to take advantage of his pattern or of his raw speed. And like I said, his raw speed is faster than mine. So with just a little bit of practice, he will actually be much faster than this at that rudiment, which will be pretty freaking awesome. And then I'll watch his YouTube video and he won't give me any credit for any of this. And I'll be like, dog, like I brought you on stage, like complimented your watch. So that's pattern speed. And so when you see somebody do something amazingly fast on the drum set, slow down before you start to get depressed, thinking like, oh, I'll never be that fast. And think, okay, what is the pattern? Figure out the pattern. It's probably not that difficult, and what you need to do is you need to slow down. What happens is when you do that kind of max out gym thing and you go, okay, paradiddle diddle, samba, Sonny Bono, paradiddle, your brain doesn't know that that's wrong. Your brain's like, you keep doing it, I'm gonna memorize it, chief. And so it's like, fine, I'll memorize it wrong all day long for you, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. So slow down. If you wanna be great at something, play at about 50 to 60% of your max speed for a very, very long time, and then your brain will get out of the way. So if I'm doing paradiddle diddles, and I'm speaking to you freely, I'm not speaking in time like, it is good to be here. I can speak to you and do this at the same time. Well, that means my brain has memorized the motor function. Now, my pattern speed can take advantage of my raw speed. Because what is that made up of? It's made up of 2 singles, not hard to do. How fast can I do that? Raw speed. Pretty fast. And 2 doubles, double, double, diddle, 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 diddle. So I can do that pretty fast. But putting them together, you go, paradiddle, well that's the pattern speed thing. So work on patterns. They're not that difficult, and you just have to not rush the process, okay? So if I wanted to do, say, something like, I remember I was working years ago on the paradiddle diddle, but replacing the right hand with the left hand with the right foot. I made a YouTube video on it a long time ago. The pattern was screwing me up. I could do this fine, and I could do this fine, which is what made it up. Paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle. But I couldn't keep track of it. I would go floor, kick, floor, floor, kick, kick, floor, kick, kick, son of a motherless goat. Floor, kick, floor, floor, kick, kick. What in the wide world of sports? Okay, then I slowed down and said, okay, what is the tempo that I can actually pull this off at perfect every time? And it was very slow. It was... So I put on some old Phil Collins, and I'm not talking about the cool stuff, I'm talking about like the ballads, where it was like, shaka-doom, and I was like, and I did it for 4 minutes, and then I put on another song, and I went, eventually I put on a Steve Jordan track that had some swing to it, and I felt it as triplets. And if you notice, I'm not rushing, I'm not pushing through this, I'm just sitting here enjoying it. And then eventually I was able to move around the kit a little bit. Get it. cool that we can clap for rudiments. That means I'm in the company of some good family. So when I'm doing that, that is the difference. That is my pattern speed being able to take advantage of my raw speed. The raw speed that led up to that, the two components that make that thing possible are singles the other thing that makes that possible was doubles. Together allowed, that was the raw speed, but then the pattern speed, what was crazy is I could do that. I would go home and I'd do like the Vinnie Kelly, like dig, 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 push up my fake glasses, dig, 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 and then I'd do the double Dennis Chambers sweep, you know, hot sauce, hot sauce, hot sauce, hot sauce. I'd rock that, and then I'd try the paradiddle diddle thing, and I'd go like, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, Johnston. And it didn't work. Well, that's because the pattern speed wasn't ready yet to take advantage of the raw speed. So, when you go home and you think like, man, I'm really slow at paradiddles, you're probably slow at the pattern, not at, it doesn't mean you're slow. You probably have more than enough raw speed to play paradiddles or paradiddle diddles or flamma whizzle pizzles really fast. You just have to slow down and practice for a very, very long time. So I hope that helps just relieve some of the stress. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is orchestration. How you doing, man? It's a great shirt. It brings out your eyes, I'll tell you that right now. So, with orchestration, when you learn something, I think it's a really natural thing to sit at the drum set and go like, well, where else can I put this? You know, when you learn this, as soon as you move your right hand somewhere else, it's very different. And you reverse your hands. So when I learn something, a big thing for me is orchestration. Where am I going to put this? So I want to share something I did about 3 years ago at a thing very similar to this called PASIC. And at PASIC, I knew that I wanted to end my solo. I had this like 12-minute solo, and I was petrified of drum solos at the time. And I knew I wanted to end it with something built over the samba ostinato. So if you guys don't know, the Brazilian samba foot ostinato is 1 and a 2 and a 3. The good thing about ostinatos is when you play them, you can stop playing the drums for a little bit, and there's still rhythm in the room. Like if I'm playing kind of, like nothing's happening right now. Like what the hell am I nodding my head to? Nothing. Okay, but if I did that same stuff over a samba, what is going on with this hi-hat? My God. Jeez Louise, it's like those weird Armageddon movies where like the whole entire world is falling apart. All right, nothing I can do about it. So anyways, so the great thing about an ostinato is the world keeps on going. There's groove happening. It gives you time as a drummer to breathe. So you have that. You can breathe and think about like, this is normally a really good hi-hat stand. Why is this happening? I don't know. But there's still rhythm in the room. It's just getting worse and worse. I like it. Okay, so please, if you upload anything to YouTube today, make it only that. Just upload that thing going like, what's up, dog? I'm sorry I was out in London last night having a few pops at the pub, you know. Okay, so I knew I wanted to come up with something like that, and I was fairly proficient at this rhythm, 1 E and 2 E and over the samba. But I knew I didn't want my solo to be this. So I started working on orchestration. And I was thinking, okay, I can't orchestrate the feet. They are where they are. I only have 2 pedals. So what am I going to do with the hands? And I came up with a melody due to like influence of Afro-Cuban music. I grew up really putting a lot of my focus into world music, and there was always these great melodies with very limited drums. So I took those 3 notes, 1 E and I made this melody out of them. So it's 2 bars long. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I wanted that snare part, that ga-ga, I wanted it to sound like 4 snare drums, but I couldn't physically do it with my right hand. But my left hand was sitting over here being lazy, doing nothing. So I put the left hand on the downbeat of 1, and on the the downbeat and then the which gave me this. All right, and then I use this second bar here as my chance to kind of solo with my left hand. All right, and that gave me this. So actually, I'll play no orchestration for you first so you can hear it, and then I'll play the orchestration after that. Easy fix. So no orchestration. Thanks. So I guess the moral of the story is, yeah, buddy, you got some gear. Sorry. How's it going? That dude's got gear all over. You can't see, but he's the cameraman. So the idea here, guys, is take the things you already know and do them way better than you've ever done them before. Go home and instead of trying to, dissect the new cool lick on YouTube or whatever, unless it's mine, but instead of doing that, just think like, could I do something that I can already do, but could I do it better than I've ever done it? And have people go, hey, what was that? I mean, when I played that samba thing back at PASIC, I had so many people ask me what it was, and they were just dumbfounded when I was like, oh, I do this with my feet, and then with my right hand, I do this crazy thing. It's 3 16th notes and a 16th note rest, and they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of it. I just moved it to some cool places. So it's like, and the great thing is, look at my kit. I don't have like 62 toms, a gong, and a whole bunch of stuff. I have a rack tom and a floor tom. So if I can do it, you can do it. Okay, so I want to talk about one last thing at the end, which will be creating a practice regime for creativity. But before we do that, this is your chance to ask questions. So anything you want to talk about, this is the time. Raise your hand like a polite person. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right, in the back, you gotta be quick, brother. You gotta be quick. You can't just be kind of like, God, is this being filmed? Talk to Douglas. What's up, Mind Games? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Do I ever worry about playing what? Authentically. Yeah, well, I think that's a great question. I mean, I think the deeper question is, when do you, as a drum set player, become an artist? That's way, way down the line, for sure. For me, it was a lot of, collection of skills. I got to get my raw speed, my pattern speed, my foot speed, my independence. Can I play enough jazz to cover some gigs in town? Do I know some cool show-off chops? So I was collecting skills for decades. And then once I had those skills, then I would think, okay, if Dave Weckl was to play on any album, I would be able to tell you that's Dave Weckl. If Benny Greb was to play on any album, I would be able to tell you that's Benny Greb. If I played on an album, could anybody tell you that it was me? Like, I don't think so at the time. So, and this is a new journey for me. So I had to start, Douglas, that journey at the bottom. I said, okay, I can play the drum set, that's not the problem. But I don't have a sound, and I don't really have anything that I'm doing that's very artistic. So first of all, what is my drum set sound? And so a big part of that, and I promise this isn't a plug, I mean, you guys should play whatever the heck makes you happy, but a big part of that for me was moving to minor cymbals, because there were sounds I was looking for that I just couldn't find anywhere else. And all I ever want for you guys as drummers is when your hand is in the air, and you hear the sound that's about to happen, all I want is when you make the connection that sound that was in your head actually happens. I don't care what brand that is, but for me, that was Meinl and a very specific line of cymbals. It sucks to go like, boosh, kang, you're like, close, boosh, kang, and you're like, okay, I don't like my cymbals. So I just want you guys to have the same thing. So I first started to define my sound through my drum set. And I would say the biggest change has been in the last 7 months, moving over to 2012-14 instead of 22-10-16. And then also making my side snare, which you guys will see tomorrow. It's generally, for the first probably 10 years that I had a side snare, it was where I put my green tea. And it was just so convenient, and it kind of looked cool in pictures, but I never really used it. And now I actually use it more than my main snare, and you'll see that tomorrow in the performance. So getting your gear situated is a big part of it. And then, authentic, like what is authentic? It's like just staying true to you and not chasing somebody else. It's okay, I mean, my influences are Phil Collins, Abe Cunningham from the Deftones, Mike Borden from Faith No More, Mark Juliana, my closest friends, JP Bouvet, Matt Halpern. But the good thing is when I learn something based off of a Dave Weckl thing that he does, I know that as soon as Dave Weckl gets into my drumming DNA and mixes with Abe Cunningham, Abe's just gonna slap Dave in the face, like Abe's in there just going like, ugh. And then Dave's like, hey, what's up, man? And like, and I know they're gonna mix together in a really crazy way, so it'll become its own thing. So I never worry about it. As long as I'm not on a situation like this where I go out there and go like, oh, I gotta be way more Thomas Pridgeon today because he's here. It's like, but he's here, so just let him be Thomas Pridgeon. I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna grow dreads real quick, and then they just shoot out, It's not gonna happen. So just, I think being authentic is just something deep inside you. So hope that helps. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I've got trouble when I try and go fast. My stick works its way out of my hand. Eventually I'm down with 2 fingers.
Sure.
I just want to
Which just isn't cool.
No.
No, because then that pinky's shooting out and it's like, what the heck? You're not drinking wine over here. Okay, so he's saying that when he plays, he starts here, and as he's playing, the stick kind of slips down and then he's stuck at the very bottom. And that's really common. If you didn't see, right before we played, or right before I started, I pulled out a little jar of happiness and I rubbed it on my hands. That's just the same product I use in my hair. That's my hair product. So first I gotta get my hand, so when I shake your hand, I'm not like nervous. I'm not on like sticky hands. I just used hair product on my hands. I promise you'll smell fantastic. So, so I have a little bit of tackiness on my stick, so that helps a little bit. But the main thing is I practice that. So I know that's gonna happen. So what I do, and for all my students, I make them play a basic rock beat. This does not sound good at all, so please don't upload this to YouTube. But I just play a basic rock beat, and I shimmy my way to the top of the sticks all the way up while playing, and then I shimmy my way back down. And I practice that over and over and over again, so that when that happens to me, I know that it's happening, and I just have one quick climb of the rope just to get up. So this is what it sounds like. It sounds horrible. Mike Johnston being awesome. Up. Down. Up. Down. And I know it seems trivial, but trust me, once you guys get on the gig and it starts happening, you're going to be wishing like, oh, I should have done that thing that Mike said in London, darn it. So I practice it. So it's not that it doesn't happen to me, it's just that when it happens to me, I make a quick adjustment that I've practiced a lot. I have time for one more question. Anybody else? Yeah, right there. Drum tuning.
Yeah, it's like really cut through in a song. It's like also got some major drums like hey.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't think drum tuning is that important on that level, at least for me. I don't tune my drums to a specific pitch or to a specific key signature or anything like that. But I can tell you this, the one thing that most people don't know is that drums tone and its tuning is 100% controlled by the bottom head. And most people don't really pay enough attention to their bottom heads. Like I'll see a student's drum set and I'll turn it over, I'm like, damn, what happened to your bottom head? And they're like, what does it matter? It's the bottom head. And I'm like, well, what does it matter? Do you know what it's called in the drum world? It's called the resonant head. It freaking resonates. It means a lot. I'll show you. One tension rod on the bottom. I'm just going to detune it. Same drum. What does it matter? It's everything, people. That bottom head is everything. Go buy some new bottom heads. Come on now. That's awesome. I didn't even touch the top. So, I think knowing the properties of tuning is extremely important. Beautiful. Knowing the properties of tuning is extremely important. So I sit in my room, or sat in my room when I was a child, and I'd work really hard on tuning a 10-inch tom or a 12-inch tom. And there's only 3 options, everybody, because tuning a drum is very simple. Each tension rod has to be at the exact same pitch. That makes sense. You hit it and you go, cool, and you tune it. But then the difference is what's going on with the bottom head. The bottom head can only have 3 options. It's either tighter than the top head, in which case you will get an upward pitch bend. Doom. The top head will make its tone, the sound will come down, it will resonate the bottom head, and the pitch will go up. Doom. If you have them the same, you'll get the longest sustain. So you tune both heads the same, and you'll get doom, beautiful pure tone. And then if you tune the bottom head lower, you'll get a downward pitch bend, doom. And that's usually that growl that people don't like, doom growl. And that's okay, some people really dig that. So those are your options in tuning, but practicing tuning is really important. But no, I'm not like in a studio session and be like, would you like this a 5th higher? I'd be like, do you want my floor tom higher pitched? That's about as deep as I get into it, so. All right, last thing, guys. Creativity. How do you practice creativity? Like if I let you come up here right now and said, okay, go ahead, Billy, just rip for me. That's so many options. What tempo are you gonna start at? I don't know. What's your main subdivision? Beats me. You loud, you quiet? I mean, the world is open to you when I just let you rip. So the way, and then usually the amount of options you have to be creative with, that forces paralysis. You actually can't do anything because there's too many options. I'm sure all of you guys have experienced it in a grocery store when you have no budget and no grocery list. You walk into the grocery store and you're like, huh, either I take all of it or I'm just gonna leave and go to Taco Bell. You don't have Taco Bell. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, that sucks, but when you go into a grocery store with a grocery list and an exact budget, you get everything you need, and you come out and you're like, I have food. I mean, I've gone to the grocery store before and come home, and the wife was like, you spent $300. I'm like, yep. And she's like, you got cookies. I'm like, I know. I don't know what the hell happened in there. I have no recollection. I walked in, everything seemed very fine, and then I came out with this $328 bag of cookies. But apparently they're amazing. So I need to do that on the drum set too. So I have to the way that I am able to force creativity for myself is by creating restrictions. Today I'm improvising in this subdivision, 16th note triplets. Or today I'm working at slow fills at 45 BPM. So one of the things that I work on for creativity with my students is this thing called the quarter note challenge. And it is a nightmare. I promise you that. I don't have enough time to bring somebody up here just to specifically embarrass them, but it is really hard. And all you do is you play quarter notes with your left hand in cross stick. And now you have to play a drum solo. I promise, as soon as you start doing anything, this left hand is gonna just go bonkers. So you go, okay, game over, you're out. And that's how it works at drum camp. We have everyone in a line, and as soon as you add one extra note besides this, you're out. So the goal is to play anything on the drum set and make it really cool without changing this. You're out, okay? So that's the goal. So I'll show you, I'll start simple and build up to some creativity, and then we'll all run over to Annika, and then I will see you guys tomorrow on the main stage. So, by the way, thanks for being here. This is really cool. This is really cool. You mind if I take a picture of you guys real quick?
No.
Okay, this is for Meinl's Instagram feed. If you can, just do me a favor and all look like you're asleep. And I'm not kidding. They all just fall asleep in 3, 2, asleep. Shut up. That's awesome. Okay, this one's for me. Put your hands in the air. Yay! Awesome. With no sound. You guys on a roller coaster? Speed versus pattern speed, orchestration, creativity through restrictions. Go to Annika's clinic. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.